What is going on, guys? Pixel here, and today we're going to be talking about Horizon Zero Dawn. It was revealed at E3 at the Sony press conference, and it is a PS4 exclusive. So I want to talk about this game because it looks super badass. It was one of the games that really impressed me, definitely one of my top 10, maybe even my top 5 games that were revealed at E3. Now what really impressed me was that, at least I had no idea this was coming. I figured there was going to be a Killzone game, but instead Guerrilla Games is making this game, which I'm fine with. And it just looks so fucking cool. It's like barbarian looking people hunting down dinosaur looking robots. It's so cool. I love it because the robots literally mimic dinosaurs. You know, there was like a mech T-Rex, there was a mech, I don't even know what they're called, broncosauruses or something like that. They look so cool. Now we saw the trailer plus gameplay, and the gameplay was really cool. You were this female character using a bow, and you were taking down the T-Rex. Now you had a bunch of different things to use with the bow. You had like electric arrows, grappling arrows, all this kind of stuff. Very cool game. So now moving on to a game called Recore. So this is an Xbox One exclusive, showed at Microsoft conference, obviously, and it kind of puzzled me at first. I was like, what the hell is this game? I noticed that the graphics are phenomenal. The graphics are so goddamn good at this, or on this game, and it looks like a really interesting game. You are a female with a little rifle strapped to your back, and you're walking around with this dog character, and then you run into these robots that are obviously not friendly, and they have little red orbs, and then your dog has a little blue orb. Now, then you get attacked by these little red robots, and they're attacking you, and they're overwhelming you, and the dog goes in there and blows himself up. And you're like, oh, rip dog, right? But then she picks up the little blue orb and puts it into the big robot. So basically, the orb is like a soul for the robots, which I thought was interesting. That's really all we saw in the game. And then at the very end of the trailer, it was the girl surrounded by a bunch of these robots with blue orbs. So from that, I gather that you have your little dog or whatever you put the core into, and then you build up a little entourage of robots. I don't know, that's just what I gathered from the game, but it looks really cool, kind of interesting, a little bit different, which is always good. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more on that game. Maybe I want to know more about the world for sure, because that orb thing definitely interests me. So maybe like a story trailer, or just them coming out and explaining what the story is. So that'd be very cool. Now moving on. So now we are going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, okay. So in the Microsoft conference, we saw the multiplayer gameplay. Well, most of it's multiplayer. We saw the gameplay for it. Very cool. We saw him take down a AT-AT. A bunch of dogfighting combat. Saw the X-Wing, saw the TIE Fighter. Saw a bunch of just little pieces of the gameplay. The gunplay looks super smooth. It looks like a Star Wars game. Looks like a Battlefront game for sure. I definitely had my doubts going into it, but now it's really confirmed, or at least for me, that the game's going to be solid, or at least should be. So definitely going to pick it up. And also, at EA's conference, they showed the missions part, where they showcased like the wave-based gameplay, which seems really cool. It seems like it's a little shallow to me. I don't know how expansive it's going to be. It didn't look like there was a lot of rounds. It didn't look like the final few rounds were that crazy. There was like one walker and a couple little stormtroopers running around. I don't know. Hopefully it's bigger and more immersive than the gameplay looked, at least to me. I'm hoping for like a huge number of waves. Like, it's probably only up to like 10 waves at most, right? But I'm hoping it goes up to like 50 waves or something crazy like that, right? And then you have just swarms of walkers coming at you, and you have maybe a Star Destroyer raining fire down on you. I don't know. It would just be super cool if they would do that. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But also, you can play it single player, which is good. You can play single player on all the other challenges or missions, whatever they are. You can play single player on. So there is somewhat of a single player. There's not a single player story, which, whatever. As long as the rest of the game holds up and can make up for the lack of a single player campaign, I'm fine with that. So there you go, guys. That was my initial impressions of a couple of the games showed at E3. I'm going to come out with a few more episodes of this where I react to a couple more games, just to give you guys an idea of what I thought of the upcoming games, and maybe I'll even at the end do a top 10 or what games you should buy that were showcased at E3 or something like that. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, throw me a comment on what games you guys thought were cool at E3 and what you guys thought on the games that I talked about in this episode, and we'll see you guys next time.